All right, class, here we are going into week two. So we've already covered a lot, and I hope you're feeling good. At least you're being exposed to new knowledge, um, and I think you'll find this week's work rewarding. Again, I just kind of want to, well, actually, before I talk about what this week, I need to address something very important and unfortunate. One of the students just called me, excuse me, and mentioned that the problem that he was having getting onto My History Lab is that he didn't buy the My History Lab. He bought the Rebel from the Modesto Junior College bookstore. Okay. Now, I called up a few weeks ago and canceled the Rebel, and I said I don't like Rebel and I don't want to use it. And I asked if we would have time to replace it with My History Lab, and I was told that we were. I don't want to blame anybody for this. I like everyone in the bookstore, and they work really hard to get things for me when I need them. Somehow, something just went wrong, and it's a kind of a big deal because it's an expensive package that doesn't work with what I'm trying to do right now. So, if you're some of those who have that though and it hasn't been working, the one thing that I'm a little bit frustrated that I'd like you all to know is that I encourage you guys to call me when there's a problem. I know it might be a little bit weird or awkward for you to do that because that's not normally, you don't normally call up your professor. Remember, this is an online class. I wouldn't do that if we were seeing each other in person. I keep saying that because I feel like there's some students that are just really uncomfortable with that. When there's a problem, when you can't get access to the books or something big, you need to call me right away, okay? Call me right away, please. And that's the best way to get a hold of me right now. I am tremendously busy. I'm working at really being there for you guys, but I have to say that I'm a little overloaded. So I'm just kind of trying to make sure I, get to you guys, your needs. And the best way is to call me. Texting's good too, okay? Actually really good. So, go back to the bookstore if you got the Rebel and tell them that you need it, the My History Lab, and that I did order that. I work tomorrow a 10-hour day at my other job, and so tomorrow is the worst day for me to try to fix this. I'm going to have to wait till Tuesday probably to really kind of talk to somebody. I will do my best to make sure you guys get your money back if this is what happened, okay? I can't leave you hanging. I can't promise anything, but, Pearson gets a lot of, I order all of my books through them, and they need to be able to take care of my students right now. It's not their fault either. It's just, we got to be able to fix. There got to be arrangement that we have that we can fix this, okay? So, I will do my best on that. And so let's talk Tuesday if this hasn't been fixed for everybody. By Tuesday, you guys can give me a call. I'll be, working from home almost the entire day. Okay, so then back to this week, the work. The ancient Israel portion, many really like this that are religious, that have a religious background in Judaism or Christianity. But I just want to just say, and I think I might mention this in some of my lectures as well, I just want to remind you that this is also where, archaeology sometimes doesn't have the same information that the Bible does, and they conflict. And I just want you to know this is not a conspiracy of academics trying to debunk the Bible. That's not my approach that I'm taking from this, okay? It just goes with all things. And I think I've said this before, but I feel like I need to say it again. Every tradition, every nation that has stories that they tell about themselves and their past, we as historians, we read those with interest, and then we also look at archaeological finds, and we just don't take it for granted that information is necessarily actually what happened. not because it's the Bible per se, but because that's how it works. Now, many Christian theologians approach this in different ways, which I'm not really getting into, but just to say, I've talked to various pastors who do study this kind of information, and they have different approaches onto how they view all this. Again, this is going to be not seem like anything controversial to many of you, and then for others, this will be a little bit awkward in certain parts. And so, again, I always remind you that I'm exposing you to various ideas about how historians approach these topics. And I know that I'm not expecting anybody to compromise their faith in literal texts if that's how you approach the universe by any means, okay? So I just hope that that's really clear, and that, you actually enjoy this portion and you find it enriching, as opposed to some sort of personal challenge to you. Yeah, I think that's it. And then, covering ancient India and China. So we're doing so much in this section, but India, also has so much information. It's a little overwhelming, to say the least, but these are very important civilizations. Ancient Israel has a huge impact on the rest of Western civilization. India is a large area with vast, wonderful, amazing array of cultures and ideas, especially in regards to religion. And then China, need I say more? China has been a major civilization that was in power in its own region for so long, and then kind of reduced to a semi-colonial status, basically, and then basically through the communist revolution rose up to being another world power again, and a communist party that switched into capitalism to make it a powerful capitalist nation with an authoritarian state. It's very interesting. We're not going over modern China, but to try to understand what's going on in modern China now, this background parts that you get on China will be, I think, helpful. The one thing that I just want to clarify, last thing, I asked you to write about Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism, okay? And I just want to briefly say these are belief systems and ideas that became really important and still are to the cultures in East Asia and Southeast Asia. But we have to be careful about assuming that every Chinese person or Vietnamese person or various people from these areas sit down and read these texts. Just like I have many Christian friends who don't really read the Bible. I have some Muslim friends that don't really read the Quran that much. Hindu friends that don't sit down and read the Bhagavad Gita and the Mahabharata all day. These are texts that, or a part of traditions that had huge an impact on this area. But just realize that many people who call themselves Taoists, Buddhists, and Confucianists have it's a part of their culture. They don't necessarily think about it directly through what you're reading necessarily. Okay, I just want to kind of clarify that. I think that's all I have to say. So again, please get a hold of me the best you can. So again, tomorrow I'm going to be hard to get a hold of. You can text me. I'll try to get back to you on my lunch break. I have a little window after work from 7 to 8. But then Tuesday, I'll be fairly open to get a hold of for anything you have. Okay? All right, here you go, and good luck for the rest of the week.